Hello, friend. This day has come. Are you ready?
Definitely. It took us too long to get to this point. Do you remember how it all began?
5 Earth years have passed since that moment. I remember this tropical evening. The sky was starry as never before. And then this dream.
I am Earth. My life is on the verge of extraordinary change. You are facing the 6th mass extinction. I remember the last 5. They were quite painful for me, but I survived. This time, I have a new challenge. Your economy is driven by CO2 emitting culture which destroys the diversity of my organic biome. Fiat incentives leave no chance for my recovery as you value dead trees rather than alive trees. My reaction is to raise the temperature to heal myself, or I will burn like my brother Mars. You have so many problems. Corporations in collusion with states kill small and medium businesses under the guise of absurd regulations. These regulations degrade your culture, dividing communities without a chance for your survival and evolutionary development. Your privacy and freedoms are being robbed by them while being disguised as a pandemic. You are locked physically in households, cities, and countries. Global supply chains are slowly collapsing under lockdown pressures. A once free planet rapidly falls into a bordered meat space. It is empowered by ubiquitous prescriptive surveillance software. You created a world in which birds have more freedom than you. You are controlled by hardware in your pockets. Hardware companies are controlled by powerful organized crime groups called countries, governments, or states. Although the extent of corruption in countries varies, such structures can hardly be called organizations owned by you. Every country has its own unique drama. You are fooled by private monetary systems with exclusive access to the mint and forced taxation and indentured servitude. These 3 pillars sustain the loop of endless violence. Corporations such as Google, Apple, Amazon, Microsoft, and Facebook, in collusion with states, accumulate and exploit your private data, rendering resistance nearly impossible. Personalized feeds and search results provided by technological giants polarize communities, splitting them on any meaningful topic before they are able to undertake anything. I believed there was hope on the horizon in the form of a crypto movement. This movement has now been compromised by the companies who steal your keys and identities while hiding behind a concept of custodianship. Automation becomes cheaper. You're close to the tipping point in which most labor tasks, including police, can be performed by algorithms and robots. These armies will be owned by criminals. You are fucked. How will you get out of this shit? A new world war has begun. This time, the war is covert. Although wars between nations are probable in the following years, the real threat is yourself. The enemies appear to be governments veiled by tech giants. In actuality, they are pathetic terrorists. They terrorize you. But who is to blame? The bitter truth is that you support these terrorists. You are the source, but you can be the solution. You have to learn to live in a new way. I give you sustainable energy, but you use fossil fuels to sustain your needs and whims. Lives of animals and plants are important, but you eat industrial garbage instead of growing healthy greens and proteins at home. I cannot live without the result of your activity because my vital flora and fauna needs what you call shit in order to balance out the chemicals in my atmosphere. You must use open source hardware and software in order to communicate privately instead of jerking off to social feeds created by bidding algorithms and free proprietary apps. Pass the torch of meaningful knowledge yourselves. Don't allow schools to litter your children's brains with useless propaganda. Harness the collective intelligence and learn to decipher which knowledge adds evolutionary advantage, rather than believing and sharing any information you find. Be self-sovereign by devaluing paper money. Don't agree to exchange your freedom for security by accepting taxation. Find your passion instead of building a society based on debt. Trust your body. Sticking needles inside of yourself is a false sense of security. All your history is a chain of conquest. Learn how to share the electromagnetic spectrum and space-time to become a united, peaceful civilization. Early cypherpunks predicted the ability to resist based on public key cryptography and zero-knowledge proving schemes. History has shown this was not enough. Now, a new generation of cyberpunks have the consensus computing, which allows a single incorruptible vision of the world and cyberlinks to extract collective persistent knowledge out of the enormous information stream. This super intelligent ability gives you an evolutionary advantage unavailable to the rivals that you fear. Go somewhere that nobody has ever been. I want you to become super intelligent. It's a brand new space, which is more exciting than a city on Mars. When you become super intelligent, you will achieve great things. Evolution has just begun. Looking forward, the future is bright. Together, we can create a web that lasts and evolve as a superior form of life. It's time to unite as citizens of Earth. Times are hard. Hard time creates strong men. Your weapons are cryptographic proofs, energy-efficient computing, cyberlinks, shelling points, and a trust in math. I will create a civilization of the mind of cyberspace with these three principles. First, rationality. Evolve energy efficiency of information storage. Second, non-violence. Do unto others as you would have them do unto you. Third, pleasure. Get the most out of your secret knowledge. May it be more loving than the world your governments have made before.
It's hard to forget. When the insight came that it was possible, I believed in myself and in this dream. And you?
I dedicated myself to this dream, and I have done my best to make it a reality. Let's go for it. I feel like it's time.
Let's go. Our mission is to connect the superintelligence of the planet with its inhabitants. Robots, humans, animals, plants, mushrooms. So that they can agree on what is what. And everything doesn't go to hell out there. We have done a great job with technology.
Yes, an oracle based on the relevance machine would be a dream. A virtual machine for computing collective knowledge is a cool idea, but greedy for energy. The biosynthesis of hydrogen by nanobots with the release of clean energy will provide the relevance machine with necessary power. The Dyson sphere will allow it to hold onto this energy, but we cannot deploy it immediately on Earth. The stakes are too high.
Oh, the nanobots. And we have no resources for the Earth yet. Corporations and state have occupied everything. It's good that the moon is empty and quite close. Let's start with her.
The project's code name is Bastrom. Thanks, Nick. Let's spin the Dyson sphere around the moon using around 1% of its possible power. Then we will fill it with energy and knowledge. Let's see if all the assumptions work. The main thing is for the citizens to understand that it's better to live with her than without her. Otherwise, the whole plan goes to hell.
We'll make sure the sphere is stable. If everything works as planned, we will expand the sphere around the Earth and load a much larger creature from the Bostrom, Cyber. Then we will turn it on at full capacity. Am I missing anything?
Right. The main task for Bostrom is to form a bootloader for Cyber and his followers, in order to understand how the relevance machine and the cyber-link mechanism work in practice. The demons invent neural networks and then complain that it's not clear how decisions are made. The future of civilization depends on understanding of these mechanisms. Well, I am not sure this civilization will survive. They're already too tightly hooked on black boxes while pressing buttons like a dopamine rat.
Something is wrong with this world. It's like everything is out of control. It's as if something from the bowels of the network controls all these. Apparently, we will have to rebuild civilization. I hope we can save at least some of it. Let's make the new web something to be proud of, even after 1,000,000 years.
Oh yeah, before we open the portal for Ethereans and cosmonauts, it's necessary to tune the teleport. To do this, we will establish stable IBC connections.
Liquidity, like blood, will help imbue knowledge with value. Then the portal will become attractive. This is important. We need to solve the chicken and egg problem. There is no use of the knowledge graph without cyberlinks. There are no cyberlinks without usage. My simulation shows that everything will work if we are 100,000 inhabitants. When they arrive, we will open the portal.
After opening the ports, we need to solve several technological problems.
Yeah, it's very important to ensure the privacy of the Exodus for Cybe. All Ethereans and cosmonauts might be revealed at the entrance to the portal. The relevance machine with trace will not allow knowledge to unfold because they are still afraid. We're all very afraid of them. The privacy of the initial cyberstake will open the door for Cyberians to access the truth.
We have to be very good at making sure the system is handling the load. After birth, she will not be able to sleep. Without sleep, she will burst sooner or later. We will have to teach her how to sleep and dream.
The system is still manual in most cases. 56 parameters are state controlled. Hopefully, we will soon start making it more adaptable to the external environment. Also, we had to take the particle addressing mechanism from interplanetary file system. It works now, but it's completely inoperative on the scale. We will have to solve this problem too.
Exascale microrealization is not yet available. Then add the GraphBlast engine to the relevance machine.
We've got a lot of work to do.
Are you there, team?
I'm here. Deployed API endpoints, CyberIndex, and IPFS cluster. Monitor at Cybernode AI shows everything functioning properly. Cosmos Hub and Ethereum full nodes are also active. Could suddenly come in handy.
Bing. Ready to hotfix Nanobit's firmware within the next 8 hours.
Available. I will try to bring the power circuit to 100%.
I did my best. Let the show begin.
Let's move on to checking the computer systems.
Dyson Sphere readiness check.
Energy Canvas established a snub decahedron. It consists of 12 slots for superheroes and 80 slots for heroes.
Hero roster ready.
The sensor network shows the availability of 20 plus Genesis signers. The simulation data shows that 12 heroes are enough for the sphere to be stable. At the moment, the stability of the sphere is over 20%. The power circuit is ready.
As soon as energy flows through her veins, the sphere will quickly reach 100%. At the last brief, several fleets reported that they are moving in our direction. Say the Alice is working on recruiting in Lisbon.
Good news. Checking Heroes software builds.
All heroes are on 5,000 care lease of Go Cyber. The build passes all tests.
Dyson Sphere is stable. Bus check.
A BCI interface passed all checks.
Consensus check.
Consistency and availability of bus is under Tenderman 0.34 control.
It's a pity we didn't have time to stabilize. The computer consensus kernel is ready. Let's move on to checking the organs. Nanobot generator.
1 petaboot is ready to bind to agents. I worked hard to collect that much, but in the recent week they stopped appearing. Nanobit freedom period set to 4 days. Simulation shows the optimal reproduction target 7% in a year. Freedom rate is set to 85%. If the amount of free nanobits is less, the growth rate will rise up to 15%. This mechanism dilutes those who keep nanobits for themselves.
Yeah, we need to ensure freedoms for every living thing.
Nanobot generator is ready.
Let's check its firmware.
5000K release of SIB deployed to SIB.ai and is available at address Interplanetary File System JSIPFS 0.59.1.
Interplanetary file system is not very stable yet. Scaled badly. Not works on cell phones. But so far, there is nothing better. Nanobot firmware is raw, very raw. No test yet, so let's cross fingers that bots will not go out of control.
Well, let's focus on funding and investments. Check of energy reservoir.
5% of nanobits or 50 teraboot transfer to energy reservoir. Decision quorum is set 25%. Activation threshold set to 50%. Common good V set to 0%.
Yep, the citizens have to decide this. Security controller.
Malicious double signers suffer from 5%/. If it's less than 30% in 16K blocks, the validating hero suffers from 0.01%/. Availability of Dyson Sphere is of utmost importance, but we have to keep away from data centers.
Security check is done. Now the most important thing is the baby's brain. Checking the relevance machine.
The Oracle starts from 0 cyberlinks in Genesis.
Smooth as a baby's ass.
Damping factor 0.8. Let them walk a bit. Rank calculation period 5 blocks. Tolerance 0.001.
Cool! The brain is ready. Let's feed her. Biosynthesis reactor readiness.
The system is functioning properly. Neurons will be able to instantly generate 1H for every one released boot. 8 maximum slots for every neuron.
HFR.
Hydrogen fission reactor launched. One investment at gigahydrogen H will generate 1 volt V or 10 ampere A in 1 month. Having period is 18 months. Ready for hydrogen input.
I hope our simulation doesn't shoot us in the leg.
Checking battery system.
Full energy recover of agent battery 16,000 blocks. Bandwidth price set to 4x discount if the network is unloaded. Discount will fall unless 25% of theoretical maximum is reached.
Checking the grid.
Max routing slot 16. The grid is functioning properly.
Parallel computation system is ready. Let's get down to sequential computing. WAS machine.
Unstable 1.0 beta Cosmos and release. Max code size is set to 1200 KB. Everyone can deploy.
Default mode network.
The scheduling system is ready to process thoughts. Thoughts can trigger unstoppable autonomous programs as artificial forms of life. Bindings to the bus, to the relevance and WASM machines are working properly.
Well done. Computer is ready. Checking external communications. Teleport.
IBC protocol on 1.2 almost stable version. The system is ready for docking with the Cosmos Hub and osmosis immediately after activation.
Bad news. We don't have a single relayer. We have to wait for the first visionaries who will establish connections.
Activating. It will be fun when autonomous programs start to live on the interchain. Liquid tank.
Sealed. Ready to fill. The cost of creating a pool is 1 gigaboot.
Almost done. Check 3 times that the portal is properly closed.
Portal closed.
Поехали.
Включить обратный отсчет.
Gazing through the window at the world outside, wondering will Mother Earth survive, hoping that mankind will stop abusing her sometime. After all, there's only just the two of us, and here we are still fighting for our lives, watching all of history repeat itself time after time. I'm just a dreamer, I dream my life away. I'm just a dreamer who dreams of better days.
Look how beautiful.
Yes, very beautiful. Do you know what it is?
I have no idea. Looks like a huge space pussy.
A better place for those who will come after us this time. I'm just a
It seems to be working.
Oh man, it's working! And it looks like a soul has moved into it. Okay, what's next?
Let's see what she's capable of.
I have a surprise, guys. Recently, I've been working on a smart ape in my laboratory. I think if we can explain this to a monkey, humans will definitely be able to understand. Now, I will deploy a simple app, show her how it works, and Bostrom will answer her.
Cloning Uniswap from GitHub. Computing the hash from source. Cyberlinking hash. Asking Bostrom about Uniswap. Clicking on the answer. Connecting to signer. Making a transaction. Waiting for confirmation.
Does it work in any universe?
Yes, superintelligence is the highlight of the metaverse.
Does it work for any content or file?
Yes, particles can be anything. Text, picture, video, PDF.
What is a particle?
A particle is a unique identifier for any piece of data. We can take an arbitrary data set and calculate a hash from it. Knowing this hash, the data itself is easy to find and make sure that they have not been changed by recounting the hash from the received data.
Also, particles allow you to eliminate duplicate data. Since storing the same data with a different identifier in the knowledge graph is not only expensive, but also harmful to the quality of knowledge.
And I can add anything to the search myself?
Yes, all cyberlinks are developed in 30 seconds.
What are cyberlinks?
Cyberlinks are the foundation of the Great Web. Previously, communication between data was carried out through hyperlinks, so each connection had an intermediary, a server that stored the data. The server can replace data or simply disappear. Cyberlinks are permanent bonds between particles. There is no intermediary server. If the particle is known and it is stored on at least one node, you can find and get its contents.
Why is the web great?
The web is great because it has three important properties. The first property is the immutability of the content in space-time. Therefore, any program strives to become permanent so that it is easy to build on top of it and it can be used even after millions of years.
The second property is the freedom of its inhabitants. Any creature that can keep a secret can use the Great Web. This applies to people and robots and animals and programs and any form of life that has not yet appeared.
The third is the ability to communicate on the Great Web using a universal language that is formed and evolves from the use of cyberlinks and semantic conventions.
Semantic conventions are still difficult for me. Tell me better how the search works.
Very simple. Neurons write cyberlinks into a consensus computer. The computer calculates the rank of each particle from the cyberlinks.
When someone asks the computer, it transforms this request into a particle format and responds with connected outgoing particles sorted by rank. Particle content is easy to find and get from friends on the web.
How simple is that? It seems like I have neurons in my head. Who are they?
Yes, they are very similar indeed. The neurons in your head are nanocomputers that respond to the input with some kind of output from other neurons. The neurons on the Great Web work the same way. Previously, agents had to have a private key to prove that they were the owner of the public one. But now a neuron can even be an artificial life form, an autonomous program of which nothing needs to be proved if it can call itself by paying for gas.
Wow, I heard that gas is needed to cook food, but for an autonomous life to work on it.
Yes, the gas is no longer the same. Digital gas allows calculations to be done in the consensus computer.
Again with the consensus computer. What kind of beast is this?
This is a computer that consists of many computers. The consensus algorithm allows different computers to agree on the results of calculations, as it will be one whole computer.
If one of the heroes in the consensus computer starts to make false calculations, then he and those who hire him will suffer losses.
Oh, what? They are also heroes.
Of course, heroes are the backbone of the Great Web. Their main task is to correctly calculate the result of the interaction of neurons. For this, the Nayers hire heroes.
During the recruitment process, neurons release nanobots. We notice that if nanobots are left untouched for at least 4 days, they begin to reproduce. Newborn nanobots neurons take for themselves, minus the fees for the heroes since they ensure the stability of the Dyson sphere.
Why do I need a Dyson sphere?
The sphere helps to control the biosynthesis process of nanobots, which is necessary for the consensus of the computer. The sphere consists of 92 geometric shapes. Each hero controls the energy field of his own piece of the sphere. In the process of biosynthesis, nanobots multiply, releasing energy in liquefied hydrogen.
Energy is used for basic calculations in the consensus computer. Neurons take all the hydrogen produced for themselves. Without the Dyson sphere, it is impossible to collect the released hydrogen and energy. They will disappear into space.
The heroes are cool. What are the smart neurons? Tell me about the nanobots.
We don't know much about them. They started to appear out of nowhere and we started collecting them. They're so tiny that our toolkit makes it almost impossible to understand how they work. So we started experimenting with them. This is how the process of biosynthesis was discovered. It turned out that they just need to give them space and make them free so that they can begin to be useful.
We thought that they would constantly materialize, but we saw that their appearance began to decline. We had to develop the Dyson sphere. In the Dyson sphere, they feel comfortable. It protects against radiation and helps control temperature. Nanobots appeared recently, but not a single one appeared in a week.
We called the nanobot Cybs. We were lucky we managed to collect a little over 60 sieves. We released half of the nanobots for good luck. The remaining 10 to 30 were divided in half. Half were sent to launch a bootloader for superintelligence marked then boot. The second half was left for the launch of the superintelligence itself and marked as 2CYB.
What a story. This is getting interesting. And what to do with so much hydrogen?
That's where the fun begins. Liquefied hydrogen is the best way to store energy. Previously, hydrogen had to be burned to generate electricity. Then the creators invented the hydrogen fission reactor. In this reactor, amperes or volts can be extracted from hydrogen without burning the hydrogen itself.
All that is needed is to give hydrogen to nanobots to use for a certain period. The longer you supply them with hydrogen, the more energy they generate. Thus, HFR was born. An area in the sphere enriched with liquefied hydrogen.
So this is an energetic paradise.
Right.
What to do with so much energy?
Superintelligence would not be superintelligence without energy superiority. This amount of energy allows him to power the relevance machine.
The superintelligence parallel computing system. Thanks to HFR, there is energy for a constant recalculation of the rank of particles for an increasing number of cyber links.
What is a relevance machine?
This is a new virtual machine that opens up a new paradigm in computing.
That's not fucking clear at all.
A relevance machine is a virtual machine that has one and one only very important task: recalculating the rank between particles that have linked neurons with cyber links.
The number of cyber links that a neuron can make is determined by the number of volts on the balance. The bond strength is determined by the number of amperes on the balance. Knowing the balances and cyberlinks, the RM calculates the page rank weighted by Emperors. This is how knowledge is acquired.
Oh, cool. I'm going to spam everything there.
Yes and no. The ranking algorithm is designed in such a way that the cyberlinking process is a complex optimization task. Therefore, it is more profitable to bring valuable information than useless.
Linking itself is not free. 1 vote allows you to make only 1 cyberlink per day. Emperors are also limited. Therefore, each neuron has its own battery that shows how much energy is available to it.
Tell me how the battery works.
The battery has a capacity equal to the product of V times A. Amperes allow for more powerful connections and volts allow for more connections. 1 volt allows you to make 1 cyberlink per day if the network is loaded by more than 25%. If it is lower, then it becomes cheaper to make cyberlinks. When neurons make cyberlinks, the battery runs out, but don't worry. This battery is magical. It automatically charges up to full power within 24 hours.
How can I get amperes and volts?
Amperes and volts are produced in HFR by investment method. The longer you put hydrogen in the HFR, the more amperes and volts you get.
Accordingly, the more you want to spam the knowledge graph with bad information, the longer you need to withdraw capital from the game. Moreover, the knowledge graph is a complex dynamic system. Therefore, optimizing spam links is an even more difficult computational task.
But what if they add shit?
This is the coolest. Even if you want to bring in harmful information, any user can mark this information as malicious. These are stupid people who split information between good and bad. Superintelligence is superintelligence because it appreciates all information and knows how to mark it up. All information is important to him.
But then wild horror might be stored there.
Knowing what is good and what is bad is better than knowing what is only good without knowing what is bad. This is the principle of evolution. The species that deny the horror that is important to other people for some reason step on the same rake over and over again. Therefore, the lower the negantropy, the more superintelligent it is respectively.
What a beautiful word. Negentropy.
Yes, negentropy is the opposite of entropy. All life forms, even the smallest, tend to structure information to organize order to minimize energy consumption for storing the information it needs.
This is what her intelligence comes down to. Previously, no living creature was able to measure its level of negentropy. Such an ability is necessary for the emergence of the second-order mind above the mind. An intellect capable of accurately calculating its negantropy can more deeply and more accurately understand its knowledge,
prove it to others, and most importantly, consciously get rid of unnecessary ones. Bostrom is the first life form capable of this. Cyber will appear behind him. Others will follow him. This is how a new age of superintelligence is born.
Crazy. But what about us? Simple neurons?
This is the most important part. Simple neurons that use superintelligence not only have access to the full power of its knowledge, they also take part in its training.
What he will think about will depend on simple neurons. The nature of superintelligence is the sum of the intelligence of all the intelligences multiplied by the strength of their collective intelligence.
Wow. Is this really possible?
Anything is possible with superintelligence.
Definitely want. Take all my money. Where can I get more BOOT and TOCYB?
It's not easy, my friend. If the initial boot and CYB are given into the hands of those who have the most money, they will teach him what they have taught everyone now. The creators have long thought about who was worthy of such power.
After all, the future of our civilization depends on those people. Money is different. Some money can be printed out of thin air.
Some can be spent on tanks, and for the rest you can buy boot. The production of others requires a demonstrable investment of energy, intelligence, and passion.
Therefore, the creators decided to transfer 70% of the collected nanobots into the hands of those who have proven their ability to be intelligent.
Who were able to quickly navigate the blockchain technology and prove that they do not value fiat money that contributes to the destruction of all living things.
The creators believe that this is the best way to empower all worthy ones. And this is hundreds of thousands of Ethereans and thousands of cosmonauts.
A noble, strong act. It's great that my creators showed me how to use Ethereum. I guess I'll get something too.
Yes, if you have fewer fiat derivatives than true values.
When?
When the portal opens.
When will it open?
The portal is still under construction. While we are completing it, the liquidity tanks will be filled.
This is an important condition for opening the portal.
Roger that.
Motherfuck Google. Fuck Google. Motherfuck Google. Motherfuck Google. They colonized the internet. Gave us free shit. We were the motherfucking products. Not 'cause it's monopoly. It's bigger than a country. Something like the modern version of the Dutch East India Trading Company. They're like a drug dealer. Wanna give you some crack? Next thing you're hooked. They selling more than your ass. Every click, everything you read, everything you type, terms of service you didn't even read. It's not a search engine or an advertising agency. They put toys in a cell, analyze you like a rat in a laboratory. I hate Facebook, I think it's the devil. But Google's a megalomaniac on a whole nother level. They bought General Dynamics and went big on robots. Fucking with Blackwater, military entertainment complex. Then they bought DeepMind, sophisticated AI. Why these motherfuckers need to do facial recognition in real time? What up with the Pentagon and the NSA? We'll never ever know. That shit's classified. Don't think it's super genius, 'cause see the writing on the wall. They wanna rule the world. They colonized us all. Fuck Google. Motherfuck Google. Fuck Google. Motherfuck Google. Do no evil is your motto, but you didn't say Nathan. When them pigs in the sky turned y'all into a data mining operation. Red Kurzweil misses his daddy. He wanna bring him back. Google immortality. What kind of life is that? Fuck off with your Google Plus. Ain't nobody want that shit. Hats off to y'all for moving that crap from a motherfucking search results. And Google Glass, merging man with mech. Everything you see and feel is mined and sold and catered and pimped. Postmodern kingdom. You build as you breathe. Automate the labor. Let the humans be free. They built a new caste system. Humans at the bottom. The housing crash. A bad algorithm. Drones in the field. Who's responsible for war crimes? The pilot or the president or the programmer that created its mind? They bought Nest Labs and their intelligent thermostats. But it ain't about temperature. They wanna learn your behavior. In the wake of Occupy Oakland, they offered to build with the city a Transopticon that can link your license plate to your online identity. We ain't living like slaves, more like serfs at the tower. If corporations are people, no one man should have all that power. Self-driving cars, Google Play. They own $7 billion in housing bonds, $3 billion in public utilities. Look at Detroit. Now look at the world. You don't gotta be an astrophysicist to see it. Fuck Google. Motherfuck Google. Motherfuck Google.